One of the best DIY winter season projects is sewing your own hanging Christmas stockings. This simple pattern can be made by beginners and is easy to personalize for every member of your family, so everyone can have their own special stocking. In this video, we'll show you how to use a hand couching technique to make a fun candy cane themed stocking. We've included two patterns, one smaller one that we'll demonstrate within this video that's perfect for gift tags, ornaments and decorations around the house, or even a stocking for a pet. And also a larger one as a full-size stocking. Before you can get started, you'll need to cut out your fabric pieces. Download and print the free pattern of your chosen size, available in the description box, or prepare your own pattern. Mark a line about 2 inches from the top of the stocking with a disappearing fabric marker or a piece of chalk. This is to mark the cuff of the stocking so that you don't do any embellishment past this line. At this stage, you can begin embellishing one or both pieces of your outside fabric. We've selected a multicolored yarn, but you can also twist other strands of thread with it to add some variety of color and interest to your couching. Select one of your pieces of yarn and measure it at a diagonal angle on your fabric. Cut it to the desired length. Place them on your fabric and pin them in place where you'd like them to go. You can play with different colors and weights of thread to twist them with the yarn. Eleganza is an 8-weight Egyptian cotton that comes in tons of solid and variegated colors. You can also try Dazzle, an 8-weight rayon thread with a single strand of metallic running through it. Changing up your yarn and couching threads adds a whole lot more interest to your project than when sticking with the same threads, so don't be afraid to get creative. Next, you'll need your couching thread. We'll be using this 20-weight thread called D-Twist. It's made from 2 twisted strands of rayon that give it a unique contrasting effect. For this project, we'll be using color DT9020, red/gold. You can use a sharps needle with a hole large enough for this thread. To make the couching thread stand out a little more, we've doubled up the thread on the needle. Knot the end of your thread and bring it up from the backside of the fabric to hide the knot. Continue doing this simple stitch all the way down the length of yarn to couch it down. Another fun way to couch is to make little X stitches instead of a straight line. While pulling your yarn straight, take the stitch at an angle. Do the same in the other direction a second time to create an X. This is a fun way to play up your stitches and add some variety to your hand couching. Don't forget to tie off your thread at the end of each line of couching. You can leave the extra run of yarn loose if they're coming off the sides of your stocking, as they will be secured when you stitch your stocking together in the next step. However, if you have some yarn that comes off the top of your stocking, you'll need to tie it off behind the fabric and trim the excess, as these pieces won't be sewn over later. Once your outside fabric is couched to your satisfaction, you can start assembling your stocking. Take one of your lining fabric pieces and lay the outside piece right sides together so that both the outside and lining fabric toes point in the same direction. It's important to ensure you have the correct lining piece with the toe that faces in the same direction as the outside fabric. Sew along this edge on a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Do the same with the other outside and lining piece. Take both of your sewn pieces and match up the front and back pieces with the right sides facing together. To make sure the center seams match up, you can stick a pin through the center seams on each piece to ensure it's lined up perfectly. Sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, starting in the middle of the lining piece and backstitching on both ends. Stop about 4 inches before your beginning stitches to leave a gap to turn your piece. Snip a few notches on the toes of your stocking, being careful not to cut into the stitching. This will help the seam lay flatter. Using the hole you left, turn your piece right sides out. You can give it a quick press to help the seams lay flat. Top stitch the remaining hole closed and finish it up. Because we left the hole in the lining piece, you won't see the top stitching once it's tucked into the outside fabric. We're now going to create an embellishment for the cuff of the stocking and a hoop to hang it by. For the hoop, you can use a small piece of the bias tape or make your own with a scrap piece of fabric. Fold the two edges widthwise to the center point and press. Fold it again in half and press again to create a loop that is a 1/2 inch wide. You can stitch it closed by sewing close to the edge. For the embellishment, we'll be using a simple strip of gift wrapping ribbon. Carefully measure it to the circumference of your stocking and trim it to about a 1/2 inch longer. Position it to start at the seam running along the back of the stocking and pin it into place. As you bring it back around, tuck the raw edge of the ribbon under and line it up snugly against the starting edge. Take your loop and place it under the ribbon. When you sew it into place, you'll catch the loop with your stitching so that it is secure. You can use any top stitching thread you like to sew the embellishment down. However, we want something that will pop a little more. We'll be using this thick 12-weight thread called spaghetti, as it gives a beautiful top stitched look. We'll also be increasing the stitch length so the stitches don't sit too closely together. Stitch all the way around both edges of the ribbon to secure it in place. Your stocking is complete and ready to hang and fill with all kinds of goodies. We hope you can enjoy making these easy decorations yourself. Let us know in the comments if you plan on making this project, or ask us about any questions you might have. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and click subscribe for more great sewing tips and tutorials. We'll see you again next time.